Hey, I'm here today with another just chatting video. I'm just playing Warframe in the background because my brain just needs to have something to be occupied with as I'm talking. So, I'm in Gabi, in Warframe, one of my favorite places to play survival missions in Warframe. By the way, I wanted to talk about something. This is kind of a little bit personal, a little bit more on the verge of why not every game is for everybody and why I quit League of Legends actually, which I did. Now, I haven't been playing League of Legends for, I think it's over a year now. So it's almost like a detox, you know. I'm 1 year clear, I guess you could call it that. I have been playing a lot of League of Legends. I wasn't pro level or anything like that. I certainly was getting into my gold rank, which, like high silver and low gold, is something that, while not being super impressive, it is still something that not everyone can reach in their League of Legends career. Like, most of the players are in bronze and now in iron as well. So whenever you reach silver or higher, you are actually in like a top 20-30% of the players. But playing League of Legends, especially in solo queue, is something that is not for everybody.
Activating it will buy you more time.
And while you can get some results, the League of Legends, as every competitive game should, has a lot of punishments for people who do not act good, who insult others, who write nasty words in the chat, you know, who do not play like they should, who feed on purpose, etc. After all, it's a game where 5 players face another 5 players, and in these kind of games it is very easy to fall into a trap that everything is fault of somebody else. It's never you. It's always somebody, right? You make a mistake, but it's very easy to blame jungler, etc. And why I'm talking about this is it can actually make you worse person, a person that
Get ready for a capsule.
maybe not everybody want to be near or around, mostly because you can, and well, if you are predisposition to that, you can and well project all of these things into real life. And I loved League of Legends. I usually was like blasting some 90s music as I was playing, or maybe some
Additional life support has arrived.
maybe some Irish rock like Seed, etc. I was having fun whenever I was winning, but whenever I was not winning, I wasn't having much fun, as you can imagine. And I often transferred it into real life, and sometimes it affected my real life in a way that it was hard to be around me. And whenever the frustration, for example, I was working as a consultant in a software company at the time, and whenever frustration from the work and the frustration from the game itself just joined together, it can make you into a person that is really angry at everything, you know, to the point where like you can demolish furniture at your home. And I'm not saying like I took an axe and chopped down the whole cupboard or something like this, but what often I could like literally punch a hole through a closet, or like ruin the doors, or maybe crashed a plate in a sink. On the other hand, if I was winning, I just couldn't get enough, and I either was high on the adrenaline, high on the rush, because I won like several games at a time and everything was sunshine and rainbows, but also could happen is you win 3 games, then you lose 1, and that one will still piss you off and triggers you off. And it makes you an ugly person. Of course, the sane advice would be quit League of Legends at that point, because it is affecting your real life, which probably a person should do, but it is harder than it looks. And not because it's the fault of the game. Game is the catalyst for something
The
worse.
raid is off to a
Whenever
successful start.
you are
When you need it,
trying to be
extraction
calm,
is ready.
whenever you are trying to be calm, something can trigger you, and then everything else will just come up. All of the frustration from other things, from real life, from work, everything that you should manage will come up in those heightened situations that League of Legends can put you through. That way the game serves as a catalyst for something much worse. And now the reason I couldn't quit for years was I was actually trying to combat my quote-unquote guiltness, or the way that I couldn't control myself, my anger issues, by, hey, if I let this game beat me, if I quit, it's not me improving, it's me running away from the problem. And this was my biggest block. And I tried a lot of times to stop being that toxic player, to try my detox by improving my behavior in League of Legends. And arguably, some people can do this, some people can stop being toxic, but it is not for everybody. And worst part for a person like me was to admit that I cannot handle it this way, and that the quitting League of Legends is actually good for me, and in the long term good for the game, because League of Legends is now free of yet another toxic asshole. And yeah, there might be still like millions of those playing, but there is one less, so it's good for the game and it's good for me. I gotta say that the year after I became a much better person. I am no longer having such anger issues. I'm no longer like demolishing my stuff at home, and I'm no longer that frustrated, because the games I play now do not just get me to this point of the edge. Maybe they are not as rewarding. Still playing a lot of games. I'm playing Warframe, I'm playing MMOs, I'm playing World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, I'm playing horror games, I'm playing action games, I'm playing RPGs, but none of them to the competitive level as I was playing League of Legends. And as hard as it was, as much as it initially felt like a defeat, in the long run it actually helped me a lot. So this is the whole purpose why I'm having this rant, because sometimes a player may feel that quitting is something that you shouldn't do, that it makes you defeated, and then maybe those issues will surface in some other aspect of your life, but so far it did not happen. Now, this can mean two things. This can mean that I haven't really found anything that I would be so emotionally invested as I was in my League of Legends ranked matches, to the extent that I would care as much about that, to the point that it would piss me off all the way up to having anger issues. Or maybe it just means that giving that up actually improved my life, because League of Legends is artificially that high level of dopamine and that high level of wanting to win that you do not actually encounter in real life. Now, I made other changes in my life as well. For example, during my last year of League of Legends, I returned to historical fencing, which is like, you do see a lot of HEMA nerds around, but here in Europe, in Central Europe, the HEMA is not something that surfaced in the last 10 years there, or 20 years. There were historical fences, as far as I remember, when I was a kid, like 30 years ago. You could see historical fencers doing their performances almost as a theater on castles, etc. So it is something a little bit deeper than just let's put on a gear and bash each other down with swords in the ring. It's more about learning how our ancestors were using those weapons and uh, what were available at the time, and it is really our heritage right here. And I was actually invested in historical fencing around 20 years ago. So you could say that I swapped League of Legends for HEMA, and it is not like advertisement for HEMA, it's more like you should choose what you do for fun in a way that it is not destroying other aspects of your life. Even if it means admit defeat, and arguably, yes, maybe League of Legends defeated me in a way, because I had to quit it to improve my life, but this is a call that every person playing games, every gamer needs to make it. And even to this day, I'm sometimes like, especially when I'm like watching League of Legends video, or maybe I hear a song that I was having fun when I was playing it, I'm like, yeah, I would play this, because the level of engagement, what it could give you, was high, was great for me at the time, and would probably still be. But I know that it can spiral into this love-hate relationship, into this toxic relationship back very quickly, and that is the reason why I'm not going back to League of Legends, because I know that quitting the game, no matter how great the game is, was one of the best things that could have happened to me. So I know I'm ranting a little bit, and this is completely impromptu video, but those were some thoughts that I just wanted to put out there as spontaneously, because today was one of those days when I was like, yeah, I'm missing playing my Echo mid, or maybe Echo jungle, or maybe set stop, whatever. I'm pretty sure I would still remember how to last it and how to play the game, and I even had some fun streaming, playing Samira, etc. Back in the day when I was still playing, but it is really not worth it. So instead, I'm making this video and making this call that every person playing a game like that should be responsible for their own well-being, and whenever the game, no matter how engaged you are into that game, no matter how much joy it brings you, whenever it is causing you harm in other ways, it is never worth it, and it's just worth to go play something else. So there are two types of League of Legends players. Like, the one type is the type like me, which is a person who just cannot really control themselves and will blame others and will be angry because of the loss and just can't take the loss well enough. And then there are people, you a lot of times see these League of Legends coaches who are calm and who are able to learn from their mistakes and are able to not be or not spiral into these toxic behavior patterns. And these are the people that the League of Legends is actually good for, because they can grow their skill, they can teach others how to play, etc. So whenever you're playing game, and this goes for any game, because for me the triggering point was League of Legends, but I can imagine that for some other people World of Warcraft can be, like raiding can be this trigger point, and they can like spiral out of control. For some it may be like hardcore World of Warcraft. Now if you're watching hardcore World of Warcraft scene right now and what is happening with Pirate Software, which is a very cool guy, but somehow he is hated by hardcore community now because of some characters dying in the dungeons where he was involved, etc. So it always comes back to the gamer to decide what is just fun for him and why he is taking the game too seriously, that he is willing to put the real life in danger just for that. Now, let me read the comments here. Zelda League is not a good game. Why the toxic community devs cannot do anything? With the toxic community, devs cannot do anything about it, creating more FOMO by splitting ranked into several parts of the season, because some people are bored and stop playing shortly. Um. Well, gets beside the point. Like every game has its own rules. And while this statement is not entirely incorrect, it's just the factual state of the facts how League of Legends is right now and how it is played, and it can be, if you want peak performance, you just need to be there and grind it. But that is true for any game. I think the more question is, who is this game for and how it affects your life outside of the game. So for example, for people who are calm and collected and are able to playing League of Legends without any problems, then they are perfectly fine, and maybe it is even better for them that they have more engagement with the game they love. However, if you are somebody like me who is just getting angry because he believes he is not in the rank where he is, while objectively, now that I have been 1 year on detox, I can say that I was precisely at the point that where I should have been, not because I would be bad player mechanically, but because I was too emotional and too invested, and I was basically jerk to my teammates and then jerk to the people in my real life. So the other games are for me, and the League of Legends is not the game for me, and this goes for everything. Some people may be triggered by even single player games. I've made video recently about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and I believe that all the people blaming, unless they are obvious like trolls and just want internet points and basically trolling online, but I strongly believe that some people really think that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 betrayed them because X, Y, and Z condition in it, and maybe they should play something else. Because again, once the game starts affecting your real life in a negative manner, then the game is not for you. And I had to make that call with League of Legends. Maybe somebody else needs to make that call about hardcore World of Warcraft, and somebody else needs to make that call about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. It doesn't really matter. The games should be fun in the first place, and they should take us away from our stress and troubles that we have in real life, because everybody is struggling with something, instead of making it worse, and that is my point. And as weird as it is, and as much as I'm missing League of Legends sometimes, the call to quit was one of the best things, one of the best decisions in my whole, like, not just the gaming life, in my whole life altogether. And again, I'm not bashing on League of Legends, it's just we are programmed to do something. We are programmed to see dopamine levels. We are programmed to feel good when we are rewarded, and we feel rewarded whenever we execute something to the beneficial outcome. For example, in League of Legends, when you are good attack damage carry, right, and you execute your gameplay, you are rewarded because you win the game, you carry the whole team, everybody on your team loves you, everybody on opposite team hates you, and it feels awesome. However, if you get to the point that you are angry because you were not able to execute this, then the League of Legends is not for you. If you are a player who, instead of getting angry, looks at his mistakes and asks questions, what can I learn from that? What can I learn from all of this? What did I do wrong? And you are able to ask this question calmly, and you are able to learn from your mistakes, then the League of Legends is a game exactly for you. So as I was saying, the League of Legends is not a game for me because I cannot do that. And while initially this felt like a huge punch in the face, it felt like, yeah, I'm just letting this game beat me. I never could have controlled my emotions. Now that the year has passed and I see my results and I see that I'm not that angry anymore, and that I, despite not being able to play League of Legends, I am okay, and I have different interests now. I put more time into Warframe, I put more time into my favorite MMOs. I put more time into practicing my historical fencing, etc., suddenly all of this feels like another kind of payoff. So there is always more to it. Life isn't like one coin with two sides. There are many, many sides. It's like D20 D20 roll, right? It's not just black and white. So you always need to ask yourself a question: why this is working for somebody else? Why this is not working for me? And what can I do for this to work? And if your answer to this is no matter what I do, I'm still getting angry, even if I try to play collected, even if I try to learn from my mistakes. And I've tried all of this because I played League of Legends since like 2011 or whenever the League of Legends, whenever they launched for the first time. I think I started playing when the game was like about 1 year on the market. I remember it all. Like I remember release of most of the champions at the time, all the way up to present, and I never stopped playing. And after almost a decade, when the league devolved me into a person that I never wanted to be in the first place, and it really influenced my life negatively multiple times over the years, I realized, yeah, maybe it is time to quit. And it was certainly like a drug addiction, and now I'm free of it. And the worst part of it is, yeah, I do crave it sometimes, but I know that I cannot afford to go back and to play the game again, because I don't want to risk spiraling back into that bad place that I was in, because it wouldn't be good for me. So no disrespect to League of Legends, it's a fundamentally good game. It's just that its players are flawed in a lot of times. Sadly, it is a human nature to be like this. So you don't really, just as my commenter just written, the devs don't really have too many leverages to do something about this. They would have to create their player base much more strictly, maybe the way they do it in Korea, where you basically need to have phone number to play games, etc. And whenever you get banned, you are banned, and that's it. Maybe that would weed out the bad players, but then again it would weed out me, because I'm not, or I never was one of the good players in the first place. I was banned multiple times, sometimes even for 14 days, because I was a dick. I played on purpose sometimes because people made me mad. I got silenced all the time, and lot of years I was playing on honor level 0, because every time when I was starting to gain that honor back, I just couldn't help myself, and I started shit talking somebody because he made a mistake in a video game. And that's just telling that you shouldn't be playing this game in the first place, because if it's triggering these negative emotions, then it's not a game for you. Anyway, I think this is all that I wanted to get off my chest. Maybe what I wanted to emphasize the most is that even if you are mechanically a good player in the game, the fact that I got into the gold rank multiple times proved that I was above the average player mechanically. It still doesn't mean that you can learn from your mistakes or you won't blame others. And you will hit a wall in your grinding, in your learning, because a lot of times ego gets in the way, and whenever that happens, you just can't learn anything new. So maybe you should just play games where you can detach your ego from your gameplay, or maybe it's about something else different, something else that entirely something different. And I couldn't point it out or couldn't name it, but maybe playing cooperative games is a way to go. And there is a lot of hate towards like PvE Care Bears, but there is a reason why PvE is mostly a positive outcome of playing a game, unlike any sort of competitive gameplay, because whenever you play PvE, you don't have to deal with these negative emotions towards other players. You are there to communicate and overcome these obstacles with the cooperation of other players. And a lot of times what you hear is you just don't like to play PvP because you are scared of other people and you don't want to land, but that is not true entirely. Mostly you get to a point where you actually can beat other people, where you actually can be good, but in the end it just eats you up from within to the point that you become toxic asshole yourself. And you can see this in motion, that a lot of players who are playing competitive games, PvP games, they are usually more aggressive than the people who play single player games or PvE or cooperative games. So there is something that is triggering us, that's making it more personal when you compete with other players and opposed to just cooperating with them. And if you cannot handle these emotions, like I couldn't have in League of Legends, then you should avoid them completely, because while it is still just a video game, it can pretty quickly become a catalyst that will spiral you out of control. So this is my conclusion. And again, I appeal, just don't be toxic to other people. Be nice and choose your games carefully, because in the long term it will improve your life. This has been my small rant about why I quit League of Legends,
Well executed.
why I don't play anymore, and also me playing a little bit of Warframe. That was just to have something to do while I was talking, so something is happening on the screen. Thanks for watching.